Is everybody doing today? I just said let me come on here while my boys are getting a haircut. I had an awesome revelation just a second ago, literally just a second ago, you know. My higher self was coming in, you know, because someone reached out to me to find out how I'm doing. And I said, I'm here chilling in the car, and you know, my son is getting greetings, sacred soul. So I was getting a revelation just a while ago, because you know, spirit will just come in anytime, anywhere, anyhow, and it doesn't really matter, you know. So I'm here listening to some hip hop while my sons are getting their haircut. It's been a while. And so I had a friend just reach out to me to find out how I'm doing. So I'm just dancing in hip hop, and I said, who said this is not spiritual? Because this is as spiritual as I could ever be with my melanin and all that stuff, you know. So I said to him that it's, I could feel the shifts that are happening on the planet right now. And it's getting stronger, you know what I mean? And I could feel myself, oh, thank you. I do it myself, you know. It makes me feel good, you know. And I just said, I want to change my hairstyle and everything like that. So I just slapped on something. Then, you know, when your higher self is coming and the heat coming through your body, then it's like I want to just take everything off. It's like, oh my gosh, this is just an amazing journey. It's like you just have to let go of any expectations and stuff like that. So anyway, this is the revelation that I had. When you're born, when you're a baby, when you're an infant, you don't know when you're growing, but you're just growing anyway. You know what I mean? And you know, you're laying in the bed, and every night you go to sleep, or whatever time you sleep, what happens is you just continue to grow. So what's happening is that the soul, as the soul is evolving, you can't see it with the physical eye, but you're still growing and expanding in consciousness, you know. And I realized that even if I don't say anything, people are just like being drawn to me, and I'm even driving in my car and they're waving at me and everything. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. And it doesn't matter. There doesn't have to be any, things said or spoken. It's an energy. And many of us are here to just keep, bringing that energy on and being in, no matter what process, what stage, that we're at. And so I said to him, I said, oh my goodness, I said, I started to feel the heat come to my body as I'm there dancing and, and stuff like that. Because you can move the body no matter where you're at, and what it does, it continues to shift things. Because what happens is the higher self, the soul, the oversoul is, it's almost like sprinkling and coming and templating into the physical space. And it's like I'm seeing and I'm getting the image of the fact that we are expanding in consciousness, and it's going deeper and higher. And as we're going through this type of expansion, you can't see it, but you can feel it. You feel that energy, and you feel it coming from your heart center. And right now when I look outside, wow, it's like the moon disappeared, because the moon was out shining so bright, and I could see it. And I saw yesterday it was actually half and half, and someone else that I was in contact with also saw the same thing, that the moon, well, the sun is there too, just so we may not be able to see visibly in the sky, but it's still there. Just because you don't see something, see, Spirit, give me another revelation. Not that I didn't know that. You may not necessarily see something, but it doesn't mean that it's not happening. And it's good not to even go into any space of judgment, on whether or not how much you're progressing or how far you're reaching, because it's still happening whether you're aware of it or not. Just like when you're growing up, you're laying in the bed sleeping, and every night I watch myself and I think of myself, if anybody even knew what age I am, you'd be so shocked. But anyway, I don't even think about it, because I am the age of how I feel, and it's timeless and it's ageless for me, as far as I'm concerned. And it's how you feel inside. And this is the best that I've felt in a long time, from over 2 weeks now. I've had to process through so much heaviness and stuff. It's like the Scorpio energy is just unbelievable. And oh my gosh, like really taking it so deep within. So imagine that what we can't see with the physical eye, it's still happening anyway. With our higher selves that are templating, and no matter how it shows up, it's still happening. You know what I mean? And so this is the part where we've really come to more and more surrendering of the self, and surrendering of your journey, and surrendering to what or how you think it may how you know yourself may show up, because it's really yourself. It's about yourself and myself and all of ourselves coming together, you know, with all of it. So that's why I kept thinking about the song that I was dancing to, look alive, you can meet me on this side. I mean, I don't know the words to the song, but who cares? As long as I put it in and bring the message, right? That's what counts. And see, it came back on and it's playing again. So we gotta look alive, you know. And sometimes you may not feel like you're looking alive. You might just be laying there, and no matter what, every second of the day, there is something happening to do with these shifts. There is something happening for you to heal. There's something happening for you to tread forward. Even if you feel like you're stuck, you're not stuck, because the energy and everything is in motion. Good evening, Stephanie, beautiful star. How art thou? You know, it's like I haven't been able to see close, and sometimes it comes and goes. Like it's like some of the magic that's happened to me, I'm able to see without wearing my glasses. If I didn't have the glasses, nobody would even know what, because you know when you reach a certain age, you need to use the glasses. So whatever shifts my body has been going through, I've had to put on back the glasses, but I can't use it with driving. So I couldn't see a name for a minute, but now I see. As long as I saw I see the SDEPH, I know that it's you. Peace and blessings, my dear. So I'm just chilling. My sons are getting their haircuts. They haven't had it in a while, and I'm just chilling and moving myself and do some hip hop. Yes, right. This is the other part of me that I'm just like, whoo, grounding it all in, you know. Yep, that's right. And just bringing on myself to, you know, just whatever messages, wisdom that I'm choosing. Funny enough, I didn't see any synchronizations for today. So I'm saying, ooh, am I getting a little pass for today or something? Because, you know, no matter what, Spirit is just going to have it just pop up in the most craziest ways, no matter what. No matter what. Can't run from yourself. You can't run from this, you know. And no matter how we think this should show up, it's going to show up as it will be, shall be on earth as it is in heaven, or on earth as it is in heaven, on heaven as it is on earth, you know. Either way. So look alive, be alive. Yep. So how's everybody else doing? How are you doing today? How is your Friday? I can't believe, well, I do believe it. Shoot, a week and some days, and bye October, be into November. You know, it's amazing how, you know, everything that was shown to me is how these everything is just speeding up, and we can't, you know, there's no stopping us. There's no stopping any of this. And look at that. See, I didn't make this up. So, the music playing is Non-Stop by Drake. We are non-stop. That's right. We're non-stop. Shit will never stop. Nope, it will never stop. It will never stop. But anyway, what an amazing time to be in, you know. Of course, when I'm feeling great right now, it's an amazing time to be a part of this cycle of changes, you know. And it's like, even today, it's like, it's almost like it feels mystical, like I feel like I really literally feel like as if my body's in another dimension. Like, you know, even though I see other people around me walk up and down, whatever, there's just something that I can't see it with my physical eye, but the tentacles that are within me is just feeling all of this, like it's a pulsation or something, you know. That's how it feels to me. So I know that the full moon, oh, now I see her. She came back out. First I saw her and I was like, oh wow, I see you again, because yesterday it was showing half and half. So I knew when I saw the half and half, and I was speaking in tongues like crazy. And I said, oh my goodness, that's a representation of the light and the dark, feminine and masculine. And I said, wow, there was something that was integrating, and I was receiving codes coming through, and it felt like what I saw was something being taken back to Antarctica. And it's like they were showing me something like to do with like this formation of ice, and it's like the ice is melting. So I don't know if it's necessarily subjected to the physical ice itself, but to me it feels like more like more heart awakenings are happening, more heart chakras are opening up, and it's connected to Antarctica, which probably more likely I feel is connected to Atlantis, and that there's some codes and keys that are affiliated or associated with that area. And what I kept seeing was ancient messages were flowing through from that area on the earth, and it's starting to come through and to flow and come through, and different parts of the lands in different parts of the world were being activated also, where many twins are located, you know. And it doesn't mean if they're there physically, but even energetically, especially if you had incarnated in that particular place. So very interesting, very, very interesting. So I started speaking in ancient dialects. Like I started speaking in ancient Mandarin, Portuguese, what was coming through was Indian. It was all different dialects, and another ancient African, it was connected to the Dogon tribe that was also coming through. So I know that there is some planetary stuff going on outside of Earth, outside of planet Earth. And when I think about the full moon, I know the full moon is supposed to be in Taurus. My rising is in Taurus. And when you think of Taurus, Taurus represents the earth. It represents the things that are sort of fixed. Also represents what you're manifesting in the physical space also. So, you know, this is what I'm getting intuitively. So, you know, I'm not an astrologist, but I definitely read energy. So, and that's what I'm getting. My left ear is scratching me. So, you know, it's like my body's responding to this. So very interesting, very interesting. So we are receiving new codes, and it's active, and to me it's more like it was coming through as activations. And so these activations is what's taking place depending on who is receiving it and what stage you're at with your ascension. You know, it's going to affect you one way or the other, for the good, for the best, of course. And that's what I'm hearing, and I feel that this part of it is where we're being propelled even more so by the time the 11/11 time frame starts to come in stronger. So I know someone said that the portal is already open for 11/11. I kind of feel like it'll come in much stronger, like towards like the veil as it's getting thinner as we near October 31st, and the date of 11/1, I didn't even realize and remember the 11/1/111, that's a vibration of ones and ones and ones and ones. And I feel like that's when it's going to really catapult into a portal of opening for the vibration of the sequence of ones. So because Spirit showed me that every time when you see specific codes and it's showing like on and on and on, and it's repeated, that's a part of yourself that's connected to that formulas, like, you know, like how when you're in chemistry and there's a particular formula that produces a certain outcome, because our bodies are actually made of chemical components, okay? Or I should say, maybe it's not chemical components, it's more like I forgot the word we use, but anyway, each part of your body is made up of components that is related to chemistry, okay? That's a better way to word it. And what I mean is that it's made up of minerals. So you have the gold, the silver, the zinc, the copper, all this stuff. And you know that there's certain formulas that connect you to each specific element of your body. So that same thing applies to your higher self, your lighter body. And a part of that, that chemical, alchemical makeup of it that connects you to your physical body is what is bringing on that element of you, what's that? When we get to that stage when you're I just remember that name. When the body itself, what it's going to be changing to as time goes on. For some of us, we're going to look lighter, feel lighter, and that's the reason why certain pains will come through your body, or breakouts. What else? like things with your eyes, sleepiness, the headaches and all that stuff, because as your higher self is templating in, that chemical component that makes you up is trying to integrate, okay? And that's why your physical body will feel affected. So most people, oh wow, sounds like somebody's gonna cry. So that's the reason why it feels uncomfortable as we're going through this process of ascension. And that's why when that part of yourself, you know, when they say that you need certain minerals and stuff, when you feel pains or you're lacking calcium and all that stuff, sometimes I really feel like it's really based on what you're carrying within your own frequency, your own genetic makeup. Also, what is it that you're storing within the cellular level of your body? Because you see, as you heal through those components and as you're integrating and releasing what doesn't serve you, what's happening is that part of yourself that's coming together is like also releasing it, and it's maybe releasing through pain, and maybe releasing with feeling tired. Then you might feel like you have all this energy in the world, like you can't sleep and all that stuff. So it's like it's trying to, how do I say, to fit into that place together and merge as one. That's what it is. It's like it's coming, because I spoke about it in my other two videos, like the convergence of the soul with all the parts of itself that comes together. And it's amazing. It's amazing. But that's what brings on the changes with the body and the skin tone and how you feel, what you may speak. That energy, the DNA that's coming in, all of that is what's shifting within you. And as you connect to the person who you're connected to, it even becomes even stronger as well. So I feel that between now and the end of this year, there is just more changes that's going to happen when it comes to the physical body. I feel like, I'm trying to remember that word again. Oh my goodness. What the terminology for the light body when it comes to that stage where it's not more in that 3D density, but I can't remember the name of it for the life of me. So, but either way, I'm sure it'll come back to me. I usually say, Spirit, help me. What's that name again? It'll come to me. I think it starts with an E. I don't remember. But either way, when we get to that stage, as we're templating more of that body, it's just going to be changes with what we eat or not eating. But it's like it's going to be coming on like years ahead from now. But I feel like things are going to be starting to come on more rapidly. You're going to even find yourself probably even doing things less than what you did before. Feeling disconnecting from your work you do. You might feel like you're wanting to disconnect more from people or anyone that is not vibrating at the same frequency as you are in terms of conversations. It's like you just feel like you're disassociating, from that. So you're going to still coexist in the same space, but then in some cases you just feel like they can't tolerate you and you can't tolerate them. And it may change where they're able to be in that same frequency as you are. But I'm just realizing it now that it's increasing. It's increasing. So very, very interesting. Very interesting. So, but these are the times of change. These are the times of change. So, but this is what I've been waiting for anyway, because I've been telling Spirit, I said, could you just speed this up? Can you just speed this up with things, with something happening, where at least there's more of us that's like coming together, because the more of us, the more that we are coming into that connective space of truth and staying in our power with it, and we're not, taking over anyone or anything else. We're just templating this truth, and we're templating the true the true 5D earth reality of what this life is going to be. And it's not anything that's written. There's maybe some visions and projections that one may have had, and dreams that we may have had, some of us may have had, as far as what the new earth may look like. But I know that the more that things are shifting, is the more I'm able to see what it may look like. But now it's more that I'm feeling the energy, I'm feeling the vibration. And you start to, and it's not where before where I feel like, oh, it feels so good today and everything, and then the next day, oh my gosh, I feel so, but it's like I just feel something. They're telling me that this full moon is, oh, okay, this is what they're telling me. I love when this happens, especially when I'm on the street. It's like it's something is going to pull, like, ooh, it's like when you pull the rubber band back and then it just goes boing and it just accelerates. And that's what's going to happen when that 11-1 date comes in. And see, and it's all a vibration of ones. And you know what? It makes sense because ones represent that beginning stage, the number one, the beginning. You know, they usually starts with zeros, okay? With zeros, and I know that's why I kept seeing 10 so often. But when I think about it, it would make sense because October 31st is Halloween, and usually it's a representation of, you know, the darkness or the other side. And I forgot the word, the holiday name that they have for it, you know, whatever it represented. But either way, it's like being on the two veils of the world. What represents the shadow and what represents the light. So I really feel what they're showing me between that stroke of from the 11 o'clock hour on October 31st up until November 1st. It's like something is going to begin to propel with a huge acceleration of oh yeah, they're telling me it's like a huge acceleration of gifts, acceleration of unions, acceleration of, I'm talking about physical, energetic unions, physical in the physical space. There's an acceleration of knowledge, like more knowledge is pouring through on the planet. You know, they're showing that to me right now. I feel like those who are really working on themselves, they're showing me that they're going to now even attain that power within themselves to heal their bodies even greater. And it's not going to be like it's back and forth between, oh, I feel terrible today and then they feel good today. It feels like as if there's more of this light coming through and connecting to it, but from a conscious level, and there's just greater healing on the body. Yeah. I also feel there's going to be an acceleration of transitions too. They're showing me that. Like I'm getting like a chill with that. And that's, of course, has to do with what's coming into balance. But it's almost like there's some who they're being pulled into their own cocoon, and it's like you know that the person's there, but then they're not there. It's almost like being out in space. That's how it feels. Like you're out in space, you know that there's, you know, something out there, and you're not alone, but you're not necessarily having to connect to them. And it's just stay in your knowing. Again, that's what Spirit is saying. Stay in your knowing, stay in your inner knowing. And staying in your knowing meaning that whatever your path is, whatever you know that you're here for, no matter what it is, to stay on path with that and not let anything or anyone dissuade you from that. You see, because the more you're holding steadfast to that frequency, is the more it's coming into its physical manifestation. You know, so it's just like when they say you're walking on the sidewalk and someone planted something to grow there, and just when you think you give up on it, then all of a sudden it pops right up. Well, they're telling me that this is what's coming into this. A lot of things are coming into its greater manifestation. A lot of the seeds that have been planted, and this is the harvesting time. This is the harvesting time. That's right. So 11-1, remember that date, 11-1, 2018, because 2018 is also adds up to an 11. So it's all vibration of ones, all vibration of ones. And then by that time, to me, that's when it feels like from the 11 p.m. time frame, okay, which I know that we're all in different time frames, you know what I'm saying? But that 11-1 time frame, because no matter what, every part of the world, because you know we have the quadrants, and I just saw 222, my first thing for the day. So it's like each part of the world, there's something that is templating in all the segments, you see. And so by 11 p.m. Eastern time or Pacific time or West Coast, East Coast, Australian time, wherever the time is, that is when I feel something energetically is going to be moving into that space of preparing itself to accelerate by the time 11:1 comes in, like an opening. And then when 11:11:11 comes in, I feel like that's when things are even more grounded. Because, you know, remember with energy, sometimes when it starts and it begins, like it starts and it begins, and then you got to give it time for it to catch up to the rest of itself. Because just like with the higher self coming in, the body is trying to get used to what's you're, you know, having to integrate and assimilate with all the data and what you're releasing. And then your higher self is trying to get used to being in the body. So it's going both ways. And that's what the two worlds are coming together. The two worlds are coming together. The two different experiences, the projections. If you're in a sacred soul partnership, you're assimilating everything on both sides energetically every single second of the day. Every single second of the day, at the hour on the clock, everything, you know, regardless of whatever's happening coming from the planets, because we're responding to the motion of the planets and what is accelerating right now. So they're making me feel like things are becoming more templated by 11:11:11. So, you know, you think of the you know, like I said, when they pull the arrow back and then it shoots out. That's how they're showing it to me, like that accelerated pace. So yeah, well, that's interesting, because I was not expecting to channel anything, but that's spirit for you. Could be just sitting down minding your own business and dancing, and here it is, you know. But you know what, this is life, you know. It's not to go to a place, because it's within us everywhere we go. It's within us everywhere we go. And I didn't have no book, and had no computer in front of me. Definitely wasn't able to look on my phone, because I'm using my phone to be on the live. That's right. And you know, I just look at it this way. It feels so good to be free. It feels so good to be free. And I'm saying freedom in the way of the different levels of freedom. You know, the more you speak your truth, the more you honor your truth and yourself. How do I say it? The more you create more space for this love. The more you create this space for, you know, who you are evolving, how you are evolving. Because it's not even just becoming. Because you know what? I look at it this way. You've always been who you are all the time. You just didn't remember. You just didn't remember to click those heels, you know. And it could be high heels, but any kind of heels, you know. Click your heels. Click, awaken thyself, you know. And step into that space, you know, and you'll see how much more magic you're going to be bringing into your life. And as you align with that magic, you're also inspiring someone else to do the same thing. That's right. If you haven't checked out my YouTube live that I did yesterday, I was talking about sacred sexuality. Please feel free to check it out. It does contain adult content. And it is a discussion about what we are shifting through, and the rewind button, you know, and the reset button that's being placed when it comes to sexuality. Because the sexuality and connecting to ourselves with intimacy is one of the key codes to what is coming together for your union. And that means that we're releasing a lot of fears, a lot of dogma, a lot of pain that you may have experienced, you know, either growing up or whatever has passed through from your ancestors, you know, because it can go deep into the womb space, into that part of you that has been passed on from generation to generation, and there's so much views and beliefs when it comes to relationships. So, you know, Venus and Scorpio is really putting us in a place where we're going really deep into the subconscious mind, and having to review all the things that we've held secretive in our hearts that are to be revealed. And once you release, you know, I always say, you know, when you hold things inside and you allow yourself to release it, how does it make you feel? You feel freer. you feel freer, and that's what it is. And feeling freer also means that you're able to look at yourself and look at the stuff that is showing up, even if it's within that moment that you're talking about it. And as you're talking about it, you're bringing it into its conscious awareness, you see. Yes, step into your magic like that, my dear. Step into your magic like that, because you see, we don't even realize how much of this magic we have within ourselves until someone comes and says, hey, did you know that you... And you're waiting, like as if you're waiting for someone else to give you permission to be magical or to feel this magic. And you don't need anyone's permission. You don't. No. And it has always been that way. And we can't hold ourselves back, because if someone else doesn't understand it, or if someone else is not doing it for themselves, the more you stay focused on your gifts and your shifting and your evolving, you know, this is what leads the way for others to do the same thing for themselves. And it opens up the changes that are continuously happening on the planet as well. And that's why some of us are the forerunners, they say, or the way showers, and we continue, and it goes on and on. You know what I mean? That's what it's supposed to be. That's how it has always been. Always. Well, I tried this back. Well, at least 2 of them. Let's see how they did their hair. Let me see how you did your hair. Let me see.
Hairline looking crispy.
Me looking crispy. Sure are you here? Come closer. Let me see. Did you do the sides?
No.
You just lined it up?
Yeah.
All right. Let me see you, Damon. That's Brandon. The one that give me gives me the most talking. Let me see your head, Damon. Oh, all right. There. Woo, he coming through me. Thank you very much. Well, thank you so much for joining me and spending time with me as we are heading into a new space time continuum. That's right. I love it though. Make sure you have some fun today also, you see. Keep living life to the fullest and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Nope. And there is no such thing as how it's supposed to look. I say, as long as you feel good about what you're doing, who you are, how you want to look, put on your face, put on your wig if you have to, put on them earrings, smell good, burn the incense, because guess what it does? It elevates you. We're not supposed to diminish anything that has made us feel good, because that was a part of the feminine high priestess energy, you see. But all of the other structures, especially religion, has had it to diminish that feminine energy, and the feminine energy is necessary to be in that space of what we are creating. It brings us into that creative space. When you think about all the things that make you feel good or make you feel great inside, that is the truth. That is a part of your creation. That is your mission, is to be the best you could ever be always. You see? And there's no rules to this. See? No rules whatsoever. I know what works great for me. You can do the same thing too. That's right. And you don't have to wait for anyone's permission. We do not have to be in fear of what someone may say, because we choose and desire to be ourselves and to be in love with who we choose to be in love. And how many times you want to be in love or make love or however the case may be, you see, or feel guilty, or the guilt and shame that's connected to it. So anyway, I shall be driving now. I have done it where I've recorded while I'm driving and multitasking, but you know, not today, because I feel kind of spacey. I'm still here, but I'm just, you know, just out there somewhere, you know. That's right. Over the rainbow, under the rainbow, into the mulberry hills I go. I love you. Peace.